You know, there were a number of different people planning the lives of freed people in that space, and they didn't all agree about what freedom ought to look like for formerly enslaved people. So some of the military officials, General Sherman, who many folks remember from Field Order number 15 and came up with the idea of 40 acres and a mule that we still talk about today, he had the idea that land should be awarded for free, should be given to freed people in 40-acre lots with some material supplies to farm that land as reparation for enslavement. Others felt that it should be sold to them. And many of the freed people began farming and then selling cash crops to soldiers and to others in the area. And so they began to accumulate a little bit of money that they could use to buy land at these auctions. And then, of course, they were also working the land for the government for a wage, and they were supposed to have been paid for that work, but the government actually never paid them. So here, this is what free labor looked like. A lot like, as you said, Coleman, enslaved labor. So they could have had the resources to buy the land at these auctions, but they didn't have them because they weren't getting paid. Yeah. Now, the land had been seized from Southern plantation owners, Confederate plantation owners, through a law that is constitutionally a little suspicious, but so long ago we don't really contest it anymore. But what the Congress did is they passed a tax law and said you have to pay property taxes to the federal government, to the Union government, and if you don't pay, your land can be seized and confiscated. Well, of course, no Confederate landowner was going to pay taxes to the U.S. government at that point, even if they had the capacity to do so. And so lots and lots and lots of land was seized and used by the U.S. government either to raise crops to pay for the war or to allocate land to freed people. And that was the land that was auctioned off at these public auctions. And unfortunately, as you described it, many northern speculative investors came down with bags and bags of money and outbid the freed people, and much of that land had been set aside for them to win in those auctions. Yeah. And it was just really heartbreaking to read the records of people just breaking down and sobbing in groups that they could not own the land that their grandparents had been buried on.